वेलकम बैक टू पैसा बोलता है। पैसा बोलता है में फिर से आपका स्वागत है। आज मैं कर्ज के बारे में बात करूंगा। जो कंपनियां हैं जो कोविड के बाद 2 साल जो हुए हैं उन्होंने अपने कर्ज में कमी की है और कटौती भी की है। जो टोटल कर्ज है, ग्रॉस डेट है, वो नीचे आ रही थी, लेकिन इस साल में तो ट्रेंड रिवर्स हो गई है। क्यों ऐसा हुआ है, इसके बारे में आज हम बात करेंगे। Indian companies falling into a debt trap. In the year 2021 and 21-22, immediately after COVID, the amount of debt taken by Indian listed companies had come down. I'm talking about gross debt, not net debt. So the companies had net gross debt came down by 4% and 2%. But in the year 22-23, this has gone up by 19%. This means the sharpest increase in debt in over 10 years. This is of course a new record and a feather in the cap of this government. Borrowing costs have gone up because interest rate cycles have tightened this period, and even external commercial borrowing has gone up because these monies have been borrowed in US or UK, but the rates have gone up from near zero 5 to 5.25, and more hikes are coming according to the Fed. So it would take a long time for companies with debt to recover in India. I have always suggested that you avoid companies which have debt. By and large, when I do trading or investing, I pick up companies which have no debt. Obviously, I have some exceptions. The exceptions being the house of Tatas, which can manage any debt because of their TCS powerhouse. Mahindra and Mahindra also has a powerhouse in Tech Mahindra through which other loans can be paid off. Therefore, these companies do not have a major problem at the time of debt. In fact, when these companies go up to auctions and buy companies when they are troubled, the Tata Group has bought several telecom assets in Africa and in Britain. They have also bought up several companies. But companies which have used borrowing to acquire companies have gone bankrupt. The most recent case of a company which used foreign capital to acquire other foreign firms and in the end went going broke was of course the story of Syntex. So anybody with borrowing will struggle, and anybody with borrowing in foreign currency will struggle even more. The latest case, companies which are big will have serious troubles if their debt goes up. We take the case of Vedanta, which is really struggling because most of the revenue is in Indian rupees and they have to pay recurring debt in dollars or pounds. So companies which are over indebted are in serious trouble, and especially if they have borrowed abroad. They have to refinance the loan quickly in India at a higher cost, but at least they can escape the cost of following dollars, which will increase the capital which they have to repay. So what has happened is borrowing costs have gone higher and companies have become highly leveraged. Company with weak fundamentals will struggle. In the case of two debt-ridden companies being forced to sell, first is the story of SR. SR had an oil refinery and a steel mill. Both were very large, but the company was saddled with debt and could not service it. SR Steel was taken over by LM Mittal, who was trying to come into India for a long time. And in the case of the oil refinery, the company which took it over was Rosensoft, the Russian oil company. Mittal's own brother lost his company and it was taken over by someone else. So the moral of the story is, if you have debt, you cannot service it. Sooner or later, the company will move out of your hands. The best way to run a company is basically run it with zero debt. An aggregate analysis of more than 2,710 listed companies, excluding finance and banks, led that average sales went up to $87 trillion, which is up 23% year on year. Aggregate net profit was only 6 trillion, down 7% year on year. Aggregate borrowings really went up from 18.7 to $26 trillion. This is the steepest rise of interest rates in India. As America continues to tighten, interest rates across the world are going up. Even in India, interest rates have gone up. This has put pressure on several MNCs which have been trying to borrow. Which sectors are in trouble, and why is it that my portfolio has managed to escape? I have steered clear of companies with debt, the only exception being that of Tata Motors. Even Tata Steel, I did not add much because it was at 53% debt, and then when the debt came down to 19%, did the stock go up fast? At this point of time, the focus of Tata Motors is to get out the Tata Technologies as IPO and deleverage even further. sector. But India's main leverage companies are mainly in oil, gas, power, metals and minings, and infra and engineering. Oil and gas, because the government has kept prices artificially low at times and artificially high at times, the cash flows of oil and gas industries are in serious trouble, and 21% of India's increased debt has gone into oil and gas. In power, there has been a circular trade in power where Coal India pays generators like NTPC. NTCP generates the power and it is sold to a local unit, and the local unit distributes the power at a small financial cost to the poor people of South India, and the scheme has been launched. But this will contribute to losses in companies. Such losses can be devastating to the firm. The power industry does not get paid on time and it has to pay the power bill on time. This is another case where metals, in spite of high realizations, is putting pressure on the government. Mining and metals have also long been big borrowers. Their borrowing rates amount has gone up by 10.2%. Infra and engineering, its market has gone up by 9%. If you have been following me, these are sectors which I have avoided and asked you to not to consider. This has been the cornerstone of my policy, is I do not own except Tata Steel much in these industries, which is why I survived. Thank you for watching पैसा बोलता है. आप इस पॉडकास्ट में उपस्थित हुए इसके लिए मैं आपका आभारी हूँ. नमस्कार, धन्यवाद, जय हिंद. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for your support for Paisa Bolta hai. Welcome back to Be Rich. I am in Tokyo on work on the 5th of August 2023. I have a lot of following in Japan, Tokyo. Those who want to meet me in Tokyo on 5th August, kindly drop me an email on the address given below or contact us on WhatsApp there. My team would get in touch with you and facilitate the meeting. Once again, I thank you for your support for Be Rich.